Hey, what's up ladies and gents, SpoonyPizzas here, looking at the Manchester City player pack, just providing a review on the players in this pack. So let's get things started. So first off, Haaland, an absolute beast in the league right now, scoring plenty of goals, but this card is so underwhelming. I mean, the balance stat alone and his stamina are immediately things you need to start boosting, which will boost his acceleration and his offensive awareness, which is great, but his finishing's only 83 as well, which is crazy to me, and he's only got 19 levels. I'm just like, we've had better Haalands in the past through the player of the weeks and things like this, but for me, I'm not really sure I can recommend him. I really don't. He's so easy to tackle. He hasn't got much. Look at his low passing. No sort of end product in that regard. He is really good if you get that offensive awareness up really high, but basically you have to take a touch and hit it as hard as you can, because he has got really good height, or has high kicking power, which is going to help him beat the goalkeeper more often than not. So he's more of like a player you just pass the ball to in the penalty box and shoot straight away before anyone has a chance to get on him, because if he's running with the ball or anything like that, you're going to catch him, you're going to push him off the ball relatively easily. If we look at his player skills, he's obviously got heading, he's got first time shot and acrobatic finishing. Those are probably the three key ones, but he has got super sub, so you can bring him off the bench as a super sub and see if he could do any damage. But for me, with 19 levels, I don't know if I can recommend him. We'll have a look at the other players before I make my pick. Next up is Addison. His goalkeeping awareness definitely needs to be boosted up a little bit, but he has got good parrying, reflexes and reach. So in my opinion, it goes goalkeeping awareness, reflexes and reach. Those are the three most important. Then you either want catching or parrying, just depending, which is the higher, I guess, out of the stats. So you just want to focus on boosting that. But other than that, not a bad goalkeeper. He's got goalkeeper low punt, long throw and penalty saver, which is going to benefit him in those set pieces or penalty situations. Ruben Dias, very good defender. This is probably the best player I've seen so far in this pack. Really high defensive awareness, good defensive engagement, good jumping, physical contact, everything you need in a defender. He is a little bit slow, so you may need to offset that pace with a fast defender. He's got only 17 levels, so you probably can't get that up to a decent standard. I would look to try and boost his defensive qualities first. Maybe try and get his speed and acceleration up to around 68, 70. If you can get his speed up to about 70, should be okay for those faster strikers. But really focus on his defensive qualities and let everyone else do the rest. In terms of his player skills, he is lacking blocker, but he has got interception and aerial superiority, which are nice to have, and he's got captaincy as well, along with man marking. Next up is Rodri. Again, not the quickest player across the ground, so he's going to find it hard to move sort of laterally across the pitch, but he has got very good stats in terms of his defensive qualities and his passing qualities, and he's got good tight possession as well as ball control. So he's going to be very comfortable on the ball, but able to win the ball back as well. He's got really good physical contact. The only downside to him is his balance is really low. 59 is a very low stat in my opinion for that defensive midfielder, and this is why I chose Jorginho, Verratti, Kante over this guy, really, because of that low balance. I just think Kante is a much better sort of solid defensive midfielder, especially with the latest update. Blocker and interception becoming far more important in version 2. It seems to be really overpowered in my opinion, that trait. So that's why I've opted away or moved away from Verratti in the defensive midfielder. He has got interception, but he hasn't got blocker. So putting Kante and Blend in my defensive midfield is making that a lot harder for teams to play through. So here we are looking at his player skills: interception, aerial superiority. Now he is tall, so he's going to be able to win a lot of goal kicks. So players punting the ball down the field with that aerial superiority is really going to help him. And then he's got all the great passing qualities to basically split open the defense or just progress the ball forward. One touch passing, through passing, weighted passing, low lofted passing, all great stuff to have. So he can really dictate play, and he's got the anchorman player role, which is nice to have, ensuring he sits nice and deep, protecting your defense. He's got 23 levels as well, worth of training. I would just focus on boosting his ball control, tight possession, low passing, and his defensive qualities. Forget the speed. It's you're not going to be able to make a difference there, really. Just focus on those, in my opinion. Kevin De Bruyne, again, not the quickest player, but that doesn't matter because he's got great output. He's got exceptional kicking power, so he's going to be able to score the odd long ranger here and there. Good curling, passing, tight possession, ball control, so he's going to be very comfortable receiving the ball. And I would just focus on his output in terms of passing, dribbling, ball control. Maybe his finishing, just increase that a little bit. Those are probably ones I would probably pick up. The only thing I probably would boost is maybe his acceleration a bit, just to add to his balance as well. So if you train up his acceleration, increase his balance and defensive awareness, that's probably what I would do. But I would just use those, just 4 points in there, because the rest should be going on his passing and tight possession and ball control. Taking a look at his player skills: one-touch passing, through passing, weighted passing, pinpoint crossing is a nice to have as well. He's got soul control to help him operate in those tight areas. That's why we should be boosting his sort of dribbling aspect and his tight possession. And yeah, a very, very worthwhile player picking up, in my opinion. Would not be too happy if I was able to roll for him. Next up is Joao Kinsello, a left back, can play right back and right midfield. So he's quite, quite diverse in terms of his playing roles. He's got good ball control, great lofted passing and curling stats. He's got 28 levels as well. Could make him one of the most effective fullbacks. The only downside is his player skills, which I'll touch on in a bit. So if I was going to train him up, I would focus on his tight possession, increasing his lofted passing and curling ability, obviously. And I would also focus on perhaps boosting his acceleration just a little bit, just to boost that balance up. But other than that, a really, really good defender. Maybe you want to boost his defensive qualities just a bit. Not really needed too much, because you want to try and use him as an offensive fullback, which is exactly what he is. So he has got double touch, which is quite a nice skill to have. But the key one here for me is pinpoint crossing and interception. Those are good qualities to have from a defensive point of view. The only thing I would say is, like I said, he is missing one-touch passing, and that is kind of vital, especially if we're playing, like I play a possession style game and the fullbacks get forward. If they haven't got one-touch passing, that can be an issue, because playing 1-2s down the wing is actually one of the best ways to get around defenses, especially with the fullbacks. So just take that into consideration. He has got unwavering form. He's got a form rating of A, but a very, very good player. I mean, 28 levels, you could do some serious leveling of this player, and being exciting just to see how much you can push him. Fulfurden. Now this is interesting to me, because he's actually a support striker in this pack. Normally he's left wing forward, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's left wing forward. I tend to play him in the attack midfield role. He's one of the best players in terms of feeling on the ball. I mean, that sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. I mean, like in terms of how he feels with your left stick, in terms of movement and everything, has been toned down a little bit with version 2, which is a bit of a shame. So there's no real need to boost the dribbling and tight position over 90 anymore, because I just don't feel like you get the benefit that you did in version 1. I feel like there's no point. You're best off sort of making more rounded players, boosting his low passing stats for sure, his finishing stats, and perhaps his balance a little bit more, along with his ball control, dribbling and tight possession. But I think I would focus on his output, because 72 for low passing isn't great, so you want to try and boost that up to at least around 80. His finishing maybe around 78, 80 as well, and then focus the rest on ball control, dribbling and tight possession. Finally, Akanji, and just taking a look, he's got 25 levels worth of training, but his defensive engagement is so low, along with his defensive awareness. Those have to be boosted right up to make him worthwhile. It's not a player I could really recommend. His acceleration is pretty poor. You'd have to boost that as well. I just think there's too much work in terms of having to boost up certain stats. We will take a look at his player skills, and the key ones here though, he has got great player skills: interception, blocker, aerial superiority and acrobatic clearance. Those are the 4 best defensive skills you can have as a centre back, along with man marking is a nice to have as well. And yeah, I would just, if you're going to get this guy, or you do get this guy, then I'd just boost his defensive qualities, maybe boost that acceleration just a fraction, but yeah, just the defensive qualities need a massive boost to make him functional. But it's a bit of a shame that he's not better. Another thing I don't like about him is his role, the destroyer. I tend to find those defenders seem to go a little bit wayward. They tend to go off and do their own thing, so not really a player I'd recommend. If I was to pick 3 players, Joao Kinsello would be probably my number 1 pick. Ruben Dias is my number 2 pick, and then I think 3rd pick would be Kevin De Bruyne. Anyway, that concludes this player review for the Manchester City pack. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.